Okay, I guess clicking that button makes the stream go live. This is the first time I have ever done this inside of OBS instead of going to the YouTube platform and doing it through there. And you know what? If this works, then hell yeah. This is going to be the way I do it from now on. So now I just need to figure out here. To be clear, I'm not actually starting the stream off right now. I'm just doing testing, and because I've never done it this way before, so this is new to me, and I want to make sure I do this testing before I schedule, or before the scheduled start of the stream. So I'm gonna, on my workstation here, we're gonna go to another Ooh, well, ain't that handy? Okay. Switch to another desktop, and apparently you can have per desktop wallpapers now. Neat. Anyway. First thing we do on my actual workstation here in the background is get my laptop, or is get the Monster Cat music going, and for some reason Chrome is flat out not working. What? Why is my browser window just a gray window? My computer isn't that slow, Chrome. Just go to Monster Cat. There we go. Go to Monster Cat. Again, this isn't the actual live stream. This is me testing everything out. But I will blend straight into the live stream once I'm ready. Alright, so moods 1337. That's my favorite one for live streams. Alright. Okay, so that's working. Alright, just gonna make sure the audio levels are good. Alright. Just before I start sharing the link around, I'm gonna do a quick git pull. Glorious. We've got hacking, email, master, and social system all up to date. Okay. Ritual git pull again because I switched branches. No need to. Alright, there we go. Go away, Microsoft Feedback Hub, I'm gonna assume that is. Don't need you. I don't need Spotify. Because that's just asking to get a DMCA takedown. Alright. Don't click on Restitched, I don't want to be doing that on a live stream. Okay, so while that's starting up there, yay, I see Unity on my workstation here. Okay, copy video URL. Alright. Now we gotta get those wonderful people over at Trixel Creative on here. And should we get the LBPU people? Yeah, let's get the LBPU people. Alright. I'm coming for you, Twitter. Alright. I'm coming from you from a different account now, Twitter. There we go. Ah, yes, NerdyAnt64 liked a tweet you were mentioned in. Great, good to know. Ah, yes, and so Highly Distant retweeted your tweet. Good to know. Alright. Alright, let's get the YouTube chat set up here. If any of y'all are in the chat, please let me know. I want to make sure this is all working. Alright, just gonna close a few unneeded. Oh? Yeah, I'm gonna close a few unneeded Chrome tabs here. I probably don't need my email open. Or Steamworks. That's probably not a good idea to have open. You can see my computer's actually trying to struggle doing this. This is freaky. Okay. Alright, so it's my assumption that everything's working, and it's 2:55 p.m. So that's good. I do have Gatorade with me in case I need a little energy boost, so that's good. So as we get into this, how's everybody doing? It's been a week for me. It's been quite the week. I'm a lot more productive, I'd say, this week than I even was last week. I worked a lot on Socially Distant and its gameplay systems. As you can tell, I've pretty much released a dev update every day this week, which is just absolutely amazing. Like, I haven't done that in months. Release a video almost every day throughout a week. And of course, this is the third weekly dev stream that I've actually done weekly, consecutively, so that's great. And of course, I worked a lot on Restitch. More than I usually do, actually. That was quite fun. It was also quite fun seeing Halston's reaction to me chugging a cup of coffee and getting all that done. It's programmer life right there. Anyway, so one of my dev updates this week was actually doing the Netcat stuff in Socially Distant. So that's that one command I showed you guys in that devlog, the hacking devlog, where I actually hacked into an in-game server, and was able to start sending messages between the two servers, or between my player computer and the in-game server, through the terminal. That was done using the game's Netcat system. Now, one thing you will see in this build of the game... Actually, no, never mind. No, I thought there was something new there, but I didn't merge master into hacking, so... okay. Yep. Basically, what I've also been working on this week was the social system in the game and getting that working in the new desktop environment. That's work in progress. Definitely a lot of UI work to be done there, but the system is mostly working. But it's also not in this build, so I can't show you guys it. Either way, what I do have in this build is, of course, hacking, because this is the hacking branch. This is the branch that I showed you guys in that dev update. So if I go into a terminal here, my laptop is going to start screeching, which is just great. I love these Asus gaming laptops. They love to be heard. Absolutely love to be heard. Goddamn. I know how to fix that, though. We're gonna have to do the same. I was using my laptop earlier this week, and I had it in performance mode because I needed... Funny story, it was actually freezing cold in the living room, and I needed warmth, and I couldn't find a blanket, so I just cranked up the power setting on my laptop. And let the fans do the work. Probably not good for the laptop, but it's perfectly fine for me. Nonetheless, we need to go into here and go power mode and make sure that it's set to balanced as... oh? It's already set to balanced, okay. I'll set it to power saver, though. Because best power efficiency is going to also decrease CPU usage. Not decrease CPU usage, but it's going to throttle how fast the CPU can go because it's trying to save power, and thus it'll generate less heat, and it should stop all that fan noise. If you guys can even hear it. It should be noise cancelled, but I don't know. It also doesn't help that there's a microphone next to the fan. Or that there is a monitor stand behind the GPU exhaust. Alright. Okay. Anyway, what I was going to show you guys was the hacking system. Basically what we have so far, in case you missed the dev update, is what we can do is I can do a little bit of the old... I've never actually played this on my laptop, so it's a little bit freaky. But what I can do is I can do an nmap on... we'll go trixelcreative.com. Right? You know, because I love picking on them in this game. It seems to be a theme. Halston has kind of come up with the conclusion that Socially Distant is just a bunch of hidden, restitched, and Trixel references, and it's not what it's going to be like in the final game, but pretty much, yeah. Anyway, what we have is we have this netmap list, or nmap scan result, that tells us that Trixel Creative has 3 ports open, 22, 80, and 443. And they're all online, which means they're not blocked by a firewall, and we can actually talk to them. Which means we can hack them, technically. See, what we can do is we can go into Netsploit on trixelcreative.com. And it'll take us into the Netsploit framework, which is an all-purpose network penetration tool in the game. And it's going to tell us that we have this many exploits, this many payloads, and a type help for a list of commands. We do that, and we can see... oh, whoops. We can see that we have a few commands. We can list our exploits, we can list our payloads, we can use something, and we can attack something. So the general gameplay loop here is to, if you don't know what exploits you have, you use exploits to see a list, and then you can select one. So in this case, I only have one, and it's a flatline, so we do use exploit / flatline, and while I'm saying this, I'm a horrible community leader because I completely forgot to announce this in the Alkaline Thunder Discord. By the way, if you're not there already, you should be there. And I would say go to the link in the description below, but unfortunately there is none, because this time around I forgot to do that. I'm a horrible community leader. Anyway, I'm gonna quickly fix that up. At everyone radio tower. Nope, that's not an emoji. Damn. Why is there no emoji for a radio tower or a cell tower? I'm just gonna do globe with meridians. We're live. Wrapping up the first actual hacking feature in Socially Distant. That should get attention. There we go. Sorry about that if you just come from the Alkaline Thunder Discord. I forgot to announce that I was live. My bad. But anyway, back on topic here. What we have is Flatline as a payload, or as an exploit, so we can use exploit slash Flatline, which I did. And that selects the payload, or exploit, sorry. Then we do payloads, and we have two. We have Exterminator and NC. Exterminator kills the system. It's not the final name. I just called it that because I wanted to poke fun at Halston. That's a story. And then there's the other one, NC, which is Netcat. Now what is Netcat? Well, in real life it's actually a command you can use on Linux. And basically, what it does, if I open it in a terminal real quick, we can do NC and specify a port, 84. And this terminal will now listen on port 84 for TCP traffic. So what we can then do is, from a system we've hacked, we can have that system connect back to us on port 84 and wait for traffic from us. That's what Netcat is kind of for in the hacking scene. What this is a reverse hell. So what we can then do is, inside of Netsploit here, we can do use payload /NC. And then we can attack a port, because we have an exploit, and through that exploit we can deploy the payload we've selected. So we're going to attack port 22 with the Flatline exploit, which is going to deliver the NC payload. Now the NC payload is going to need some command line arguments from us before we can actually do the attack, and we need to specify those right now. The first one we need to specify is our public IP address, because we want it to connect back to us. And then the next thing we need to specify is what port to connect to, because we need to specify that. You know, that's how it works in the real life. So we're listening on port 84, we know that. But what's our public IP address? Well, that's something I need to figure out gameplay-wise how to get. But in terms of development, I can use debug tools. I can use the Grave menu to go into network debug. I can go test ISP. And there's Alkaline Thunder, or no, Ketchum, because it's my laptop. And then there's Trixel Creative. Well, we're not interested in Trixel Creative, we're interested in Ketchum here. And we can see that the IP address for Ketchum, this seems to be an old save file, is 123.190.13.128. Now I can tell it's an old save file because it's using a different seed. That IP address would be different. And actually Trixel Creative would have that IP address. Based on how the game generates networks now, as opposed to before when this was created. Anyway, 123.190.13.128. We're going to specify that as the first command line argument. How did an ANSI escape sequence get in there? 123, not 132, 123.190.13.128, and then we'll specify the port 84. And you're going to see that immediately it connects back to us. And if we switch to that other terminal, or we restore function up, that's not how we do that. That's alt up is how we do that. Okay, so we have this terminal here. We have this one here. And this doesn't give you feedback that you're connected, but it is actually connected. I can do hello world. And you can see that other terminal updated. It printed hello world to the console. This is where we're at right now with Netcat. Where we want to be is being able to say run help, and it gives us a list of commands inside of this terminal instead of printing help in the other terminal. That's where we want to be at with Netcat. And that's what this stream is going to be about. Alright, I'm getting concerned that OBS is not doing... Oh wait, maybe it might be. Never mind. Where we want to be is being able to have a reverse hell on the Trexel Creative computer here. So that's what we're gonna do. That's what this dev stream is gonna be about. We are gonna build a reverse hell inside Socially Distant. Now, to be honest, I haven't exactly planned how this is gonna work. I'm winging it. Which is kind of the best way to do it on the dev stream, to be honest, because it lets me run into issues and laugh and be angry and, you know, have a good time. So, yeah. This is gonna be fun. So what we actually need to do right now is we need to figure out how to get commands into the game's hell system for running. Because if we can do that, then we can effectively, you know, have a reverse hell. We can just send the text that we get from Netcat, from our client computer, and on the server side, we can send it to the game's hell system, and the hell system will, you know, run the command as if it were being told to by a regular terminal, and then we get the result and we can send it back. Now, I realize that that might seem very trivial to do, but it's actually not really trivial. See, what we actually need to do is... So I'll show you how Netcat works in-game. By going to Hack Tools, Netcat. And all it is it connects to the server, and, you know, it makes sure that it doesn't connect to the server. It listens, and it waits for a connection. And once there's a connection, all it does is, in an infinite loop, it tries to read from the connection, and if it gets anything, it writes it to the console. And it tries to write things, or read things from the console, and if it gets anything, it writes it to the connection. So this is all the command needs to be on the client side. You send things, they get sent. You receive things, you see them. That's all we need. But on the server side, which is done through a different system, which I actually cannot remember where the payload for that would be. Give me a moment here. It's either going to be in core or it's going to be under payloads. There it is. So there's the Hull Terminator and there's the Netcat Reverse Hell. That's where we want to be. It's the same deal over here. We read things from the connection, write them to the console. We don't want to do that. I was describing the code when I wasn't even looking at it. Okay. We read things from the connection, write them to the console. Read things from the console, write them to the connection. That's not what we want to do. We want to do things differently here. See, what we want to do, actually, is... So there are a few assumptions to be made here. One is that the console, on the client side, can never send anything unless you hit enter. So it'll always send a line of text. It'll never send partial lines of text. That's one assumption to be made. However, another assumption to be made is that it might not always be the console sending data. So we need to read things such that it's real life, where we don't have that weird socially distant Unity workaround where we only send data if we have a new line in it. We actually need to read to the end of the data, buffer it, and once we're done reading that buffer, we can look at that buffer and say, hey, let's get the first line in that buffer and send that to the hell. So let's start by getting it to buffer everything. So we'll start by adding a new string variable here, text buffer. Start it off with string.empty. And we'll go back down there. And what we're basically gonna do is we're gonna grab the first red bytes from the buffer. Ooh, we got COVID going here. So we're gonna take the amount of bytes we've read, get that as an array, and you might see this and think it's happening every frame or in an infinite loop, but it's only happening if there's data, so it's not... You don't have to be concerned about performance here. Anyway, we're gonna take first red and convert it to text by doing encoding UTF-8 get string first red, and fix the typo. Oh man, this song's my jam. I could sing to it, but I don't think my Monster Cat license supports me doing that. So I won't. Plus, I don't want to, like, be a disgrace to Coven. Anyway, we're gonna do text buffer. We're gonna concatenate that to first red. Or concatenate first red text to the line buffer. And again, typos. Wait, what? There we go. Next, what we're gonna do is we're gonna say if the text buffer is greater than 0, then we're able to do this, that's fine. We're gonna say if text buffer dot contains \n, and if it does, then we're going to grab the first line, or the first... Actually, this might not work. It will. Don't worry, it'll be fine. I'll fix it. Actually, what we want to go ahead and do here is when we read text from the console here, we're actually going to send a new line along with it. Because what the game's API will do with readline is it'll actually strip out the new line. And that is ideal for most cases, but in this case it's not ideal, so we'll have to do that little workaround there. That'll work fine. Anyway, instead of using \n, I'm going to use environment.newline. And then what we're going to do is we're going to grab the index of environment.newline and the length of environment.newline, and you'll find out why. NL length equals environment newline length, programming off screen. And then what we're going to do is we're going to grab NL index, which is going to be text buffer index of environment.newline. Now, I'm going to do an ordinal index because reasons. So we'll fix that with Rider here because it's complaining. I don't entirely know why this needs to be done. Probably some localization thing. I don't know. But then what we're going to grab is var line equals text buffer substring NL index, or from 0 to NL index. Then what we're going to do is text buffer equals text buffer dot substring NL index plus NL length. And that's going to remove the line we've just read, including the trailing new line characters, from the buffer. And then what we're going to do is we're going to have to find some way to send this to the hell. So the first place where we begin with doing that is we have to actually have a reference to the hell system. And again, holders and bootstrappers here, this is going to be what we do. So serialized field, private hell system holder, hell system. And I'm not going to assert that because this is a payload action. I know what's going to be in the payload action. So we're going to go into Unity and set that all up. Alright, so there's the Holstinator and there's Netcat. So we're going to take this, and there we go. We have access. Awesome. So, we have access to the hell system, but what do we do next? There's no functionality for the hell system to actually run this command. We can't give it the command. That's not something we can do. However, I wrote this API. I can add that feature, and that's what we're going to do. So what we're going to do is we're going to start by... We're going to need to do quite a lot of reworking in the game. First of all, we need... So the way the hell system works is it needs access to the terminal, and it needs access to the actual context that we've hacked. And we have access to that right now, but we don't have access to the file system. We don't have access to the... Well, we do have access to the network interface, but we need access to all of that stuff in order to create ourselves a terminal context. And that terminal context is what the hell needs. It needs that terminal context so that it knows who's running the command, and therefore can give you the right errors and the right... therefore commands can also access the right data, so I don't want the player file system being read by a command that's being run on an NPC, stuff like that. So we actually do need a new dependency here. We need access to the file system. And that can be given to us by file manager holder. I'm gonna have to fix that formatting issue. There we go. So we'll save that and give it access inside Unity here. And now what we need to do is we need to start setting up this context. So let's have a look at what the hell actually needs for a terminal context here. First of all, we need a way to run a command, and that's relatively fine. But we'll get there. We'll get to the running the command part. We just need to create this context. So we have our command line. And first of all, we're going to do a parental... No, we're not. We're not going to worry about new lines. It's all going to be dealt with by the hell. Okay, so first we'll start by grabbing the file system. That's going to be file manager value get device file system hacked context dot device. or a local device. Commenting is key. Next, what we need is the network interface, which we have. And Ryder's actually yelling at us because we already have iFace. So we're not going to worry about that. However, what we do need is an agent. And for now, we'll just use the player agent. I'm actually not too sure what we're going to use for the agent, to be honest right now. We might actually need to create an entirely new terminal context type. So, for term context equals new terminal context. First of all, we'll see what types of terminals there are there. New terminal. So what does this take? It takes a console element and a terminal context. How exactly am I supposed to do that? What? Okay, so I cannot create a terminal context just like that. So let's sort that out. I warned you guys, this is gonna take some major reworking of the game. I'm gonna create a new terminal context called network terminal context. And we're going to inherit from terminal context. Now we're going to need to give it a context and a tab completion source and all of this wonderful stuff. That's great. But yeah, we have a network interface, we have file system. So let's start satisfying all these dependencies that we need. So public network, actually I'm going to mark this as internal. We're going to give it a context, or rather we're going to give it a connection stream. Context hacked context. File system FS. And a user ID. Okay, so we're going to store all of this information here, because we're going to need all of this. We're going to need the file system, we're going to need the context, we're going to need the connection stream, we're going to need the user ID later in development. User ID for now is going to be root, but that's going to be a way we can specify permissions later on. Okay. File system. Okay. Okay, Ryder. Whatever you think, whatever you say, I won't judge. I am judging. Whoops. Whoops. Alright. So for the context, we're just going to give it the context. Next thing we need to give it is the tab completion source. Which I'm going to have be a null completion source, which we will implement. Alright, so we'll implement that right now because it's very easy. So public class null completion source, implementing iTab completion source, oh, it's null tab completion source, isn't it? There we go. Okay, and all we need to do here is, where it's asking for get completions, yield break. Bam! You get nothing. There we go. Alright, so next what we'll do is we'll go ahead and make sure that we give it the network interface, which is easy. Kind of an outdated API, not gonna lie. We're going to give it the file system. Now, the username is a little bit annoying because, again, we don't have users. So I'm going to hardcode it as root. And same deal for the host. Actually, the host name can be the context local device name. Current directory is going to be, by default, it's going to be slash. But oh god, that's not what I wanted to do. I really need to update my default style guide. CWD CWD equals value. There we go. And then of course I'm going to define that CWD variable. Oops. That's not how you program. You can't just say string and then give it a string. You gotta give it a variable name. There we go. This is some strange, broken indentation here. What the hell happened? There we go. That's more like it. And then home directory is going to be slash. For now. I know that's not how it's supposed to work, but we're not late enough into development for that to be a functional feature right now, so that's fine. Anyway, what we need to do is create this context now. And actually, we don't even need to give it the connection stream, because this is just the context for the terminal command system. We don't need to be writing and reading from the stream through this. So that's something that I'm going to fix. That's a dependency we don't need. Welcome to Tobias to the stream. You're the first one to join, it seems. Based on the chat, you're the first message I've seen. But welcome. I have low latency mode on, by the way. That's something that I forgot to set on the previous streams. Anyway, we're at the point right now where I'm just trying to create a network terminal context, so that I can get the shell system to actually write and read stuff from a network stream in-game. And that's kind of the thing that makes reverse shells and stuff like that possible. But, you know, we're basically done that terminal context part, so we're going to create that new network terminal context. And let's see what it needs. It needs a hacked context, which we have. It needs a file system, which we have. And it needs a UID, which is going to be root by default. And I'm going to change this variable name to be fs. There we go. Next, we need to create a new terminal. So var term equals new network terminal. What is happening with my home and end keys? And I'm going to give it the connection stream, or rather the stream, and I'm going to give it the term context we just created. Okay, so it's at this point that I can start moving this class into its own file. I'm going to need to find my way back to Netcat reverse shell. There we go. So at this point in the game, what we need to do is create this network terminal, and that's what we're going to do. It's going to be under networking. Going to inherit from iTerminal, and we're going to start implementing this. Alright, so there's quite a bit of dependencies we need to specify here, or to satisfy here. So we're going to do internal network terminal. And what we need is, of course, the connection stream. That's going to be where we actually send and receive data from. And we need the terminal context. So we're gonna store these values, and we'll start reading from them. And whoa, that is a text wall for YouTube. Tobias says, I will use my right access to the socially distant repository to remove the Halsterminator payload. and do a great service to humanity. No, you won't, because I'll revert that commit. So yeah. And then I'll revoke your write access. Because nobody, and I mean nobody, Halston, I really hope you're watching, nobody destroys the Hall's Terminator. Nobody terminates the Hall's Terminator. Anyway, we're gonna do private terminal context, private connection stream, YSSN says, I will revert your revert, but I'll revoke, or I will revert your existence, but I will revoke that commit, or I can't talk, but I will revert that commit as well, because I'm a singularity. Anyway. I'm the all-knowing power, the all-knowing deity of Socially Distant. Alright, so terminal context get is of course going to be context. There we go. Now for clear, we're not going to do anything. Clear is not something you can do. Bam. Now I might change that for SSH, but for Netcat that's not something you can do. Write string text is simple, extremely simple to implement. Okay, so basically all we need to do here is get the binary representation of the text and write it out to the connection stream. Bam! Shockingly easy to implement. Don't think it'll be that easy for reading, trust me. Trust me. Alright, so this is just gonna be a write environment.new line. And this is where you need to pay close attention to what we're doing, because what we're doing is a network operation, so it's gonna be slow. Well, not really. It's not a real-life network operation, but you get the point. What we effectively need to do is do this in as little write calls as we can, so we're going to concatenate the text. There we go. And then this is read line. This is problematic. Yeah, it's problematic as hell. So we're going to need a text buffer. And an actual binary buffer too. I'll allocate 1 kilobyte because I don't see us needing any more than that for this, and then bind buffer. So we'll start by doing a stream read. Now, I did engineer this stream to make it so that you can check if there's actually pending data. You can check the length value, and if it's not 0, then there is data to be read, so you can read that data. Whereas real-life network streams are not that friendly. So we're going to start by doing the read, and we'll store the value of how much we've read inside of the read variable. So we'll read, oh, whoa, buddy. We're gonna read it into the buffer. There we go. And if we've read anything, which we most likely have, because we did a check. We're gonna grab those bytes. I see Monster Cat is going into Christmas mode. That is very clearly Carol of the Bells type melody there. Freaking Carol of the Bells, but it's metal. That's terrifying. That's actually kind of cool. Yeah, it's literally Carol of the Bells. Carol of the Programmers. I picked a good playlist this time, oh my god. Alright. So we're gonna convert this to text. You'll be happy to know that GitHub is down right now. Wow! Freaking great! Okay, I guess I won't be working on Restitched after the stream if that's still down. Good to know. Me doing this dev stream ends up with GitHub being down. What the hell happened there? Oh well, I don't need to push anytime soon. I'm fine. Time to switch to GitLab. Anyway, we're gonna do encoding UTF-8 get string on bytes and append it to the text buffer. Or line buffer, sorry. Whoa, that would have been tragic. Okay. I was overwriting the text instead of appending to it, and that would have been absolutely tragic. Alright. Okay, so we've read the text, and what we now need to do is that same thing before, where we check for a new line, because that's our condition of whether we will actually return true or not. Alright, so if it does contain a new line, then what we're going to do is get the index. Oh my god, Carol of the Bells just went really programmer-y. I'm like bouncing to this. I didn't even need to use autocompletes for that. Or not autocompletes, contextual completes. Normally, I'd be a little bit upset about hearing Christmas carols this early. Like, we're still in November. It's not the time yet. At least in my opinion. Like, you can get your decorations and stuff out and start doing your shopping and or continue doing your shopping and get all that stuff, but don't start singing Christmas carols in November, please. But that was awesome. That was an awesome song. That made my day. Anyway. Text is going to be line buffer, substring, index, 0 index, and this is going to be consistent with the game's normal API for doing this, where it strips out the new line. But then we're immediately going to take out that text from the actual buffer. What did I just type there? Oh, I turned caps lock on! Don't you just love it when that happens? I don't understand why that key still exists. Why? Why does caps lock still exist in 2021? Who needs it? Who needs it? Oh, it's the most annoying key on the keyboard. Alright. Return null? That's not what I wanted to do. Okay. So that's our read line method. We now have a network terminal. Okay, a lot of Vim users remap caps lock to escape, but you know what that proves? That proves how useless caps lock is, because they would rather have it be a key for escaping out of insert and append mode and all that stuff. They don't need the actual caps functionality of the key. But I can't do that on my laptop, so it's just a useless freaking wart parasite thing taking up space. Like, can I have, like, maybe a massive print screen key or something like that, please, instead? Solution. Instead of having to remap caps lock to escape, take the escape key and the caps lock key, you remove the caps lock key, and you put the escape key in place of the caps lock key. There, the Vim users are satisfied because their escape key is in that comfortable place, and the other not Vim users, like myself, are satisfied because we no longer keep hitting this damn useless key. Anyway, so we have a terminal. Awesome. Let's get the hell system to use it. So I'm gonna start by doing a weird thing where I kinda just use an API before it exists. So yield return start coroutine shell system dot value execute one command, and we're gonna do term, and we're gonna give it line. That's going to give it the console it needs, and it's going to give it the command line instruction. From here, we delve into the shell system. So what we've effectively done so far is we've set up a system whereby we can actually treat a network stream in the game as a terminal. So we can write text and read text from it. Now what we're about to do is we're going to take advantage of that new feature in the API and allow the shell to do stuff with that. So we're going to create a new method, public IEnumerator, run one command. We're going to take in the terminal that we need. That's the terminal that's going to be running the command. And then the command line. So now what we need to do is, because this is a public API and I cannot guarantee that everything is of correct data type and has a correct value, I say of correct data type as if it's JavaScript and there isn't a compiler assurance for that. I need to actually assert things. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to only do things if the command we're given is not white space. Okay? So next, what we need to do is we need to parse the command. We can steal a lot of code, actually, from the existing shell system. Alright, just give me a moment here while I'm reading code and figuring out what it's all doing. Okay, so I'm gonna steal from here. To there. Now, I know that I'm duplicating code, and that's generally not a thing I do, or like doing actually, but in this case I'm going to allow it because in a future build of the game, after we're done implementing gameplay, I'm going to be revamping the shell system to use coroutines anyway. So what I'm effectively doing right now is giving myself a head start on that. Because this method is a coroutine. So we're going to do var tokens equals array.empty, and we're going to try to tokenize these tokens. Now, the one thing we're not going to do is expose aliases, or expand aliases. Because expanding aliases is a little bit dumb in a Netcat type scenario. Now, I might add a flag that allows me to do that, but no. Now, this is gonna be, or this is not necessary, that return statement. It's also not necessary to write a shell prompt. Now, the only thing we're missing is state here. But that's fine. Okay, so line is going to be command line here. And state is going to be a new shell state. And I'm only going to use state for knowing when we're done the command, because what we're effectively doing here is we're not running one command, we're running one line of commands. So we can have pipes and all that stuff, and that complicates things, but there is a way to sort of finesse this. Now, here, we're going to do a yield break. That will be necessary. Now, basically, first we need to do is, we need to check if there are any pending commands. If there's a pending command, We're gonna dequeue it. And in fact, what we're gonna do is call this variable next command and steal a whole bunch of code. So we're gonna steal name, args, and console, and pretty much all of the spawning code. There we go. Welcome, Evade, to the hat. Hopefully I got your name right. But welcome to the hat. Now we're at the point, just for anyone new, we have I haven't had a chance to test it, but we've made it possible for Netcat to send things to the shell to run as reverse hell. But what we're doing now is making it possible for the shell to do that stuff. So what we're doing now is oh god, I bumped my mouse. Is we're trying to get the game to support running commands in a coroutine, which is complicated. You took down the entirety of GitHub and you're not even sorry. How did you manage that? Sad thing is, like, I actually kind of believe him. You ran git push and GitHub died. Oh, I can only imagine what's going on in the Trixel Creative Restitch server right now. Because nobody can push, and nobody can pull, and nobody can merge, and nobody can do anything. And yeah. Great. Good going. So what we're doing now is we're checking if the pending command is complete, or if the executing command is complete. And in this case, what we're gonna do is a little bit of the old object, or destroy. What? Destroy. No! I want to destroy. Is this not a shell? Or is this not a game object I'm in? Object.destroy. What? Unity engine.object.destroy. State.executing command. Game object. Okay, I think that should be it. That's the code that destroys it. What the fuck was that about? I don't know. I don't know what that was. I think, though, that this is all that needs to be done in terms of... I think I might have actually finished the feature right then and there. Okay, there's a compile error. And it's one of those really dumb compiler errors where I put a semicolon where a semicolon shouldn't go. Okay. Yeah, I think that I may have actually finished Netcat just now. That was anticlimactic. Let's actually test it out, though, because generally when something I program is anticlimactic like that, it's trouble. And yeah, it's trouble. All these compile errors that I didn't see. Unity, you should really have auto-store on your console whenever you get compile errors like that. Okay, so this should be run one command, not execute one command. Oh, I forgot to remove this. Received text. And you're complaining about a get stream? Or a get string? What the hell? This should be a byte array. Aw, why is it a line buffer take? It should be a buffer take. Buffer is for raw data, and line buffer is for processed data. There we go. There we go, okay. Okay, let's test this out. First order of business. NC84. Let that run. Next order of business. Hack into TrixelCreative.com. Let's do this. Connected. I'm like having goosebumps right now, guys. Holy crap, it worked! That worked. That ran the help command. That actually worked. Let's do a neofetch. Neofetch. Root at restate source control server. I freaking did it. Holy shit. I did a freaking... To understand, this is a reverse hell. I've never gotten this far trying to develop a hacking game. Holy shit. Now there is a slight problem with scrolling in the terminal, but... proceeds to delete restate source code. It's not actually in the game. Now there are some limitations, like I can't run clear. That's not gonna work, and that's... I believe that's how Netcat behaves in real life too. I could be wrong though. But I can run... let's see. Fortune... Cowsay. And it works. And boy is that fitting! You will find a teddy bear on the side of the street. Or on the side of the road. You will find a teddy bear on the side of the road tomorrow with a hole in its arm. You should restitch it. On the restate source control server, mind you. Oh my god. Evaded says Netcat can clear, I think. Well, if it can, then I'll look into trying to get that to work, but for the time being, the main reason I didn't do that was because there's a limitation with the console API in the game. There's no way to actually send a command to the console to say, hey, clear the screen, without actually having direct access to the console UI element. But I am thinking later down the line that we are going to implement standard ANSI escape sequences, in which case clearing the screen would be a thing you can do, but we're not that far yet. What we also need is Control-C, so being able to sigterm a program. Can't do that right now. So I can't actually exit this reverse shell. I can close the window, but the shell system will still be going, hey, dude, there's a console. You mind removing that console? But yeah, freaking hey, we hacked the thing! It worked! That's amazing. Now now that I've done that, I'm gonna commit. Because I really want to see if GitHub is down. Yeah, yeah, you joined at the perfect time, right as I finish the feature. That's amazing. Alright, let's try a push. Finish the Netcat command, or payload. I want to see this work, or not work. It does look like it's being kind of slow. I mean, I have gigabit upload, so even if I'm live streaming right now, it should not be this slow. Yeah, I think GitHub is like actually dead right now. What the hell? You guys actually weren't kidding. Let me check this on my workstation real quick. I want to actually see if like I can even see a page on GitHub. Delete source code. Nah. Oh! This is a screen I ain't seen before. I've never seen this in my entire programming career. Let's pause the music for a sec. Listen carefully. I'm gonna read it out to you guys.
Looks like something went wrong. We track these errors automatically, but if the problem persists, feel free to contact us. In the meantime, try refreshing.
Yeah, GitHub died. Oh my god. We're gonna need to find some other way to get this from computer to computer, but I'll worry about it later. Anyway, I'm really happy with that. A bit of a shorter stream this time around. I know it's a bit of a shorter stream. Honestly, I thought it was going to take longer to finish that feature, but, you know, I'm really happy with how this turned out. To understand, that's a major gameplay milestone right there. Like, you can hack things now. Now, I will need to add more exploits and payloads later on, and I'll have to add more networks, and I'll have to add firewalls, and I'm gonna add things like SSH to the game, where it's a similar idea, but you get more features, like aliases, and you get to, you know, elevate privileges and things like that. But, yeah. Whew! It's quite exciting. With that said, as always, I've been Michael, and I hope you learned something, especially about Netcat. Now, I will look into that clear thing, don't worry. And I hope you enjoy the video. I hope you enjoy the stream, I should say. And I'm excited for what's to come in Socially Distant in terms of gameplay. I really am. Social media system is underway right now. Email system is next. Customization after that. And then police system, I'm just reading off the roadmap right now. Police system is going to be done pretty much early December. It's going to be when it's done. And then I'll start world building, and I'll get a build out. So yeah. I expect the game to have its first public testing build out, and it'll be free, don't worry. It won't even have Steam integration at that point in the game. But I'll expect that to be out January or February 2022. Whichever it is, I will let you guys know. But anyway, that's gonna do it for this live stream. It was really fun getting this done with you guys. I'm gonna be doing these every Saturday, don't worry. It's not gonna stop anytime soon. And that said, I've been Michael. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. See if this button actually works this time.